Hi, I'm Buki Adiemo, Chief Executive at North Staffordshire Combined Healthcare NHS Trust. At Combined, we've always known that achieving something outstanding for the first time is only the start of a journey. The real challenge is maintaining that achievement year on year. Today, I want to let you know about another fabulous example of how we're managing to do precisely that. Exactly a year ago, it was both my pleasure and my privilege to share with you all the fantastic news that in the National NHS Staff Survey, we had achieved some of the best results in the NHS across the People Promise. Today, the results of the NHS Staff Survey 2022 are published, and once again, I'm really proud to tell you that our people have maintained that remarkable achievement. It's my pleasure to invite Paul Draycott, Director of People, Organisational Development and Inclusion, to tell you more.
I think it's safe to say that it's been another great year. As you can see, we've had the highest response rate we've ever had as an organisation. 69.2% of you decided that you were going to give us some feedback on what it was like to work at the Trust, which is fantastic. And that actually, against other mental health trusts, was the highest response rate of any organisation. So thank you for responding, for giving us your voice, for telling us what it's actually like to work at Combined. We really appreciate it. And it'll help us now in terms of our next step, because there's plenty of good things and there's plenty for us to improve on, to make it an even better place to work. So you may remember from last year's results, the results come in 9 different segments. 7 relate to the People Promise, which we'll touch on in a minute, and these are the 2, staff engagement and staff morale. Both of those, collectively, we scored the best scores against our cohort, against other similar mental health learning disability trusts. The other areas of the People Promise, which is the National People Promise, the promise to all of the people working in the NHS, come in 7 different areas. These are the first 4, as you can see here. Recommended, recognised and rewarded, always learning, flexibility and team. These 4, we actually came again top against all of our cohort, or the mental health and learning disability trusts. The other 3 areas in the People Promise, which was compassionate and inclusive, a voice that counts, and safe and healthy, the 3 that we've got here, we didn't come top, but we came 0.1 behind the top trust in our cohort on that. So a really great set of results, and thank you for everything that all of you have done to get us into that place, because it's not about the board or 1 or 2 people across the organisation in leadership positions. This is about all of you, the way that you make the place feel, the way that you create the right environment for us to provide the best possible care that we can for the people that use our services. So let's have a look at a bit more of what we can do to improve even more. So we've got a great set of results, one of the best, certainly the best in terms of comparing us against other mental health and learning disability organisations. But we've got some ideas, some areas that we think we can improve even further on. And these will feature in our people plan as we go forward. But we thought it was good to highlight and to get you to think about some of the things that we can do differently. So acting on concerns raised by patients. Again, we know that we've done a lot already on this. We know that there's concerns that come up on a day-to-day basis, and you deal with those all of the time. But there's, again, acting on those will be something that we can do even better on. Listening from our immediate managers, from people around us, our leaders, to help us to think about how we care for and support people with their problems. Again, we've done a tremendous amount, really great results, but there's more that we can do. Similarly, being respectful and kind to each other. We've got a lot of work that we're going to do around our approach to adjust and fair culture within the organisation, and also a lot that we can do around ensuring staff that feel valued and feel as though they are supported and appreciated within the organisation, which comes on to another topic that we can look at in a minute. And discriminatory behaviours. Again, done a huge amount around this in the organisation, being more inclusive, and certainly from a an ethnicity perspective. Those who are ethnically diverse, of ethnically diverse heritage within the trust, have seen a decrease in poor behaviours towards them from patients and from staff, and certainly their experiences have improved. But other areas, if you come from an LGBTQ+ background, or from a gender perspective, from a disability perspective, then there's still loads more that we need to do to improve what we do in the organisation. Recognised and rewarded. Now, clearly some of this is not something that we can do as an organisation. Some of our national conditions, terms and conditions are set within the national context, as we know, and we hear a lot about that in the news. The level of pay, things like that are outside of our immediate influence, but we can look at things like feeling valued as an organisation, appreciation of each other. Those sorts of things are really important, and we can do more around making that work for us. And I think that that comes from the leadership of the board right through the organisation. So again, that's something we want to know more about. We are looking and asking in our consultation at the moment for our people plan to understand what more we can do. The next area, as you can see, is a voice that counts. Again, your voice is really important, making sure that you have autonomy to make decisions. Coming back recently from 2 combined, having had 5 years out, I can see the difference has already been made across the organisation. People have a voice, a lot more than they did when I was here before. People use that voice. It's great to see though that that's impacting on the way people feel, as we see with the staff survey results, and that will always work through to the people that we use our services. So it's great that happens, but there's more we can do, and I think it's important that we hear you as we're doing through the consultation at the moment, and we make sure that our next people plan reflects your voice, and you can see how you can make even more of a difference than you already are. Feeling secure to raise clinical concerns. Again, we do some really good stuff on this. We've improved again. We have Marie, who's our Freedom Speak Up guardian. We have our trade union colleagues that help us with this. But again, giving people the confidence to raise those concerns, whatever area they're working within the organisation, is vitally important. So I think some of the visibility of the board and the executive team, something that we're really conscious that we can do more of, is something that we'll see more of in the coming 12 months. And confidence within the organisation that we're addressing those concerns that you raise. There's no point raising them if you don't think we're going to do anything about them. So again, how we communicate, how we ensure that you know what we've done within that context is vitally important too. One of the areas that does concern me a little bit is around the amount of violence that staff are on the receiving end of from patients. We've seen how we benchmark. We actually benchmark one of our worst areas in terms of the benchmarking against other trusts is in this area, and so that's something, again, I know we've been doing a lot on as an organisation. We need to keep that focus, keep that energy in that, and make sure that we do even more to address those issues. Bullying and harassment, I think, again, it's something that is a perennial issue across the NHS, but we can't be complacent. If somebody experiences bullying or harassment, it can be devastating and life-changing. So we need to make sure that we're on top of that. Staff burnout and time pressures and conflicting demands, we know post-pandemic that has been an increasing issue. And again, we've put lots of things in place, but over the course of the next 12 months, we want to do even more to make sure that those conflicting demands and those pressures don't lead to burnout, don't lead to people feeling as though they need their only choice is to leave the organisation. Materials and supplies and equipment to do their job. Again, as we see, within the NHS, the pressures on the finances will forever be there, as we know, and it feels even more so than ever at the moment. But we can do more, and we are going to do more to try and address those concerns. And your ideas of how we can do that better, again, are feeding into our discussions on the people plan. That leads very nicely into insufficient staffing, and across the NHS there's huge challenges with staffing, and we are really keen to make sure that we recruit, attract, but just as importantly and more importantly retain the people that we've got to make sure that you can provide the best care that we can. We are seeing vacancy levels reducing slightly, but we need to do more. We've increased clinical placements, we've got more people on a nurse apprenticeship scheme, and we're hoping that will have a big impact over this year and next year. And positive action on health and wellbeing. You know, that's something that, again, we've been at the forefront of combined across Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent, and we're going to continue to do that. And we've led some great work through the Wellbeing Hub. But it's also about how we ensure that we maintain, and the staff surveys gives us a great insight how we can maintain health and wellbeing. It's not just about having access to counselling and reducing stress through that way. It's about the culture and the way that we work with each other and how we support each other. We've done some brilliant work in Combined to do that, but we've got more that we can do. Always learning, and learning is an area within the overall staff survey that disappoints. I think out of 10, this generally we score brilliantly at 6.1, but it's still, you know, that's a sort of 40% of people not happy with learning opportunities and the opportunities to learn are missed. So career development, staff appraisals, clearer work objectives, all things that we're going to be working on more, refining, so that again we make that experience a better one for you within combined healthcare. And flexibility, organisation commitment to supporting achieving a home and work-life balance. That's something that, you know, I think we've tried to consider as we've done the work on the development of the new people plan, in terms of making sure that we think about life, you know, and one of the questions that we ask is not just what matters to you, but how can we make a difference to your life? Because it's very difficult to separate work and home life often, particularly when we've got as dedicated people as we have working in combined across the NHS. You know, separating those two is really challenging, so we have to make this work around your life so that you can do the things that you want to aspire and achieve your aspirations outside of a work context as well as inside of a work context. And finding creative ways to do that is something we need to focus on as well. And then we are a team. Teamworking is vital. We've seen the evidence. We've invested a lot in teams over the years at Combined Healthcare, right going back to 30 years ago when 20 years ago when I first became aware of Combined Healthcare. You know, lots of investment in teamworking and development of teams, and that's continued. And I think again, you know, it's a real focus that we can have this year to make sure that the team autonomy, team working, team effectiveness, team cultures are enhanced, but also that issue of working into teams, how we work across teams to make sure that we provide the best possible care that we can, and dealing with disagreements, you know, and make sure that they're dealt with constructively, because we're always going to have disagreements. We want disagreements, we want conflict within teams, we want it to be well managed, and we want it to be respectful, done in a civil way, and managed so at the end everybody's in a better place for it. So, what happens next? I've talked about, you know, we are going to have a look at the people plan, and we're going to refresh our combined people plan as a result of these staff surveys, but we're also looking to share at team level. We want this to resonate with you at team level where we can. Now, some teams are too small and won't have the response rate to do that, but where we can, that's what we're going to do. But we are going to look at it at service level, departmental level, directorate level, so that again that's where it makes more sense. You know, lots of things that can happen here need to happen at team level. They need to happen at a local level. We will have a proper look at what's been heard, how that looks, and some of the things that happen across the NHS, how we can map those across, how we can help get all those initiatives to pull together to help us improve. And we're going to develop an action plan that will feed into our people plan, as I said earlier, to make sure that we've got the right approaches, that we're not over trying to have lots and lots of different projects that don't make sense, but actually we bring it all together in a way that makes sense and a way that has the maximum impact and support for you out there providing our services. So once again, a huge thank you for what you've told us. It's been our best response rate yet, as we said. It's been a great result. We compare really, really well with our partner organisations, our cohort of organisations, mental health trusts across the country. And there's still lots that we can do to make it an even better place for us to work.